Hello and welcome. It's a new graphic novel, comic book review by me, Andrew Ace. You can find me online at UYS999. So, this week, another best of episode, and I'm looking at another artist, Leinil. Now, Leinil, I love his work. I know that he is not maybe seen as sort of the traditional mainstream standard of superhero comic books. Maybe, that's an outdated view. Certainly from when he was breaking into the industry, he had a style that was maybe a little more reminiscent of Vertigo or Dark Horse. And he brought, though, this very dynamic pencil line style to his art that, for me, really accentuates and conveys the movement, the action of the characters, which is why he works out incredibly well as a superhero artist, as an artist for largely Marvel, though he has done some DC work. And that's where I'm going to start. First off, I'm a big fan of Superman Birthright. This is one of the comic books when I was getting back into comics that I found, I won't lie, I found it online, I read it for free, and you know what I did? I liked it so much I went out and bought the book. I think I also might have the issues as well. It's certainly, art from this was my background screen for a good long while as well. This is not his earliest work. I did a little research about Leinil before filming this episode, and like most artists, he was doing work, 5-6 years before I even realized. And in this case, some readers, some viewers, might actually recognize him from Wolverine, which he did a very long stint on at the end of the 90s. And it just wasn't a title that I was reading at the time, and I haven't had a chance to go back and catch up on. I'm trying to just quickly spot some of the more iconic images from this. But what I liked about this specific book, Superman Birthright, written by Mark Waid. You'll recognize the writer from Daredevil, the recent, he's been writing it. And what I liked about Superman Birthright was watching Smallville, came out 10 years ago today. This was, I think, around season 4 or 5, somewhere when, he's graduating from high school, and they wanted to imagine what it would be like him as Superman. So, take a look at the Clark Kent in this, and certainly he has a little bit of Smallville feel, background story. Tom Welling, almost, not quite. I don't want to say that Leinil necessarily was illustrating or wasn't, but as a fan of Smallville, I really enjoyed this book. And obviously the show went on, and they sort of caught up to the time period that this would be talking about, or maybe you could sort of say that season 10 and this would be season 11. But I found it a heartwarming, fun read with exciting writing and fantastic artwork. And whether you're a Superman fan of old, or coming on because of Man of Steel or the Superman versus Batman movie, this is one definitely worth checking out. So, that's Leinil. He's the artist on Superman Birthright. Now, I kind of went on a bit more about that book and Smallville and stuff than I'd intended, but trying to speed things up a little bit with Ultimate Avengers. So, this is Mark Millar, Millar, it seems it would be pronounced with the A at the end, but it's pronounced Millar, who wrote The Ultimates, Ultimates 2, since then, Kick-Ass, Wanted. The man pretty much writes comic books that become movies. And he had returned to the Ultimates lineup, working with a number of different artists, and doing stories that were Nick Fury's Black Ops sort of covert team, which had already been brought up and referenced to in the original run. And this is sort of him assembling a new team. Nick Fury's kind of fallen from power, but he's still, looking after everyone's dirty secrets and making sure that the really bad guys are getting theirs. And this book, what's great about it is, apart from a phenomenal writer, amazing artist, it's the introduction of Ghost Rider in the Ultimate Universe. So I'm a big Ghost Rider fan. I really enjoyed this series. And what was neat about it also is that it works very well as a self-contained story. And that's to say that you don't really need to have read the previous volume of Ultimate Avengers, or even worried too much, about what comes next Certainly after this book, there's another, and the fourth one has not only returned to the interior art. I only didn't mention this review as in one of my favorites, as it tied in very tightly with the death of Spider-Man in the Ultimate Universe that Bendis was also handling. I think there were sort of 2 or 3 titles that are being woven together, and this just is a more standalone, concise read. It's got the Punisher, which is, he's going to be really big in Daredevil, and this is his ultimate version. He's sort of brought in by Nick Fury to hunt the Ghost Rider. That's the premise, but I mean, you really want to read it for just the amazing, amazing artwork. Here's some sort of the special features at the back, plus just a quick fun read. So, I'm going to pause here for a moment, and I think there might have to be a part 2, as I don't want each one of these segments to be something like 20 minutes. So guys, you can find me online at UYS999, and I always love having comments, so share your favorite reads or books I might have missed, or even, writer and artist you'd love to see reviewed. I'll be right back. Cheers.